As you are aware, this is part of the 3 billion approval of a medium term that we approved. It is important for us in the capital markets because it is really the first medium-term note program to be listed at the Nairobi Stock Exchange this year. In addition, we believe these proceeds will be applied towards development of housing in Kenya, which you know is a medium-term plan under the Vision 2030, as well as we believe this listing will deepen the range of products in the capital markets, which, as you know, is a big step towards creating Nairobi as an international financial center. Shelter Afrique has proven in a basic area like housing, it can access funds through the capital markets. As you have heard, it started this process in the year 2000, even prior to the capital markets actually coming up with the regulations of fixed income securities. So this is a big step for us, and it really demonstrates from the year 2000 the facilitation that has been provided for the Shelter Afrique. As you are aware, we have also seen numerous other infrastructure bonds, especially from the year 2009 onwards. And I believe this has provided a great demonstration effect on using capital markets for infrastructure financing, which we do encourage you to consider. The uncertainties we have seen in the global environment make a case for long-term financing through the capital markets. Because as you have heard from Mr. Ba, I think that we've seen a lot of increased interest rates globally as well as even locally, and there's a strong case really for us to consider the long-term funding through the capital markets. In Kenya, we have seen the housing sector witnessing a significant growth over the last 10 years, and we have seen major urbanization throughout this country. And of course, the growing population at the 38 million that we saw has put pressure on the housing sector. We believe, again, pursuant to the Bill of Rights in the Constitution, housing is really a basic right, and it's really for each and every one of us through the various institutions and even through the government policy to ensure that this dream of creating affordable shelter is realized. The rising demand for housing makes a strong case for us also to innovate and see from our standpoint what policies would be helpful. So in this regard, we have been working with the Ministry of Housing on the matter of the Real Estate Investment Trust, which regulations are really at an advanced stage of development, and we believe by the end of this year, these regulations should actually be gazetted. Other incentives have also been provided. I will not belabor them because I believe we've heard about some of them, but I will talk about the ones that we have not really expounded, which has been obviously the lengthening of the maturity of the bonds up to a period of 30 years. As you are aware, there is an exemption from withholding tax on bondholders, especially for infrastructure financing for tenures of 3 years and above. These incentives, as well as even the increased automation of trading of bonds, have obviously led to a huge turnover. And when we compare this particular period to date with the turnover in bonds last year at the same period, we have seen a huge increase. The turnover as of the whole of 2010 was actually 480 billion. Currently, our turnover is at 255 billion in the first half of 2011. So if you extrapolate that, you actually see that the bond turnover has increased a lot. And I believe these incentives that are there and the policies that have been facilitative, as well as even issuers taking the bold step, like what Shelter Afrique has done to issue corporate bonds, has been very good for our market. As I conclude my remarks, I wish to recognize and congratulate Shelter Afrique for the success they have had in an oversubscription of this bond, as well as to encourage them to continue facilitating the supply of additional housing units through the long-term capital raising through our bond market in Kenya.